we were Zap Printing for over 30, well, different names, but we were an independent print shop for over 30 years, and we joined a franchise 3.5 years ago. And what we do is everything from printing to signs to banners to promotional products, pens, and everything else. We do the whole gamut of different types of products for businesses, nonprofits, and organizations. So that's a little bit about us. And okay, go ahead. So what you guys are here is the 6 strategies, and we will have this presentation. If anybody would like to come in and sit down with us, we'll give you this presentation on a USB flash drive, as well as some other little goodies. But these are basically some of the best ways that you can do a lot of what everybody is looking to do. And I know Pam was curious what the number 2 one was, what clones were. And but these are the 6 things. So go ahead and go on through tonight. One of the things is just the deluge of information that everybody has today. I mean, conservatively, it could be 5,000 things that you see: radio ads, TV ads, direct mail, emails. Some of us more emails than others. And so how do you get from the person's consciousness from all those hits that everybody are getting? And I think we all have this whole information overload anymore, and distractions and everything else. So how do you get from there to the top of mind and to get to where someone will remember your organization or your cause? So a little bit about nonprofit. I couldn't get an exact count for Riverside County, but conservatively it's hundreds. I know it's probably thousands, if not tens of thousands.
Yes, thousands.
And it really depends on size. Everybody, we're talking about one-person organizations on up to much larger organizations. So not only are you trying to get through the consciousness of just the regular advertising of people here, you're also having to compete with each other. And how do you get that awareness, and where do you get the person and touch the person to really feel for your cause over someone else's cause, or in addition to someone else's cause, and how do you make that leap? So this is kind of where we're at today. And so this is what everybody is trying to do today, and how they're trying to reach their audience, your audience as well. There's a limited number of donors out there, regardless of who they're going to give to. And you can see this is all the different areas that everybody is going through. Go ahead. And then this is for, what do you use to get out there? And you can see it ranges from everything. Over the last few years, people have gone from personal relationships and direct mail to more email marketing. And so you can see, if you looked at this a couple of years ago, email would have been much shorter, and now it's the same as direct mail. But you can see all the different types of advertising medium that you can use, and then how do you decide your budget amongst all those different things, and how do you prioritize? And that's one of the things we can help you do. So, and this is basically, we liken it for a business. Businesses buy from a person. So in a business, it's not a business buying from a business. And the same thing with your organizations. They're not buying from your nonprofit. There is a personal relationship that has to be there. But look at what everybody has right now. And not one of those is a personal, other than the cell phone. How many people get calls versus texts anymore? I mean, everybody went from, pagers to phones. They were cool. You got on the phone and then you had to watch out how long you were on it. And you had unlimited minutes. You could be on it forever. And then, and then everyone went back to texting, which is just like a pager. So none of those are personal. So going into smartphone usage, who here does not have a smartphone? Come on, there's got to be somebody. Even Jim has one. Wow. That's the most amazing part. He said he was at a conference yesterday, and he was actually the mediator for the conference, and it was a technology thing. So that was That was even more interesting. One of the things we help with is mobile advertising, mobile marketing for your website. So you are a cross-section of your donors as well. I know less than a handful of people that don't have a smartphone. Doesn't mean they all know how to use it. The internet, how many of you were at the Give Big Riverside presentation last week on social marketing and online stuff? Anybody? Okay. That's kind of how we got involved in Give Big Riverside. Was I disagreed a little bit with their single source of focus, which was all online, all electronic. And so that is obviously one of the big things to do, and obviously on Give Big, that is the focus of how you donate is strictly online. So, but how do you get people to go to the online? That's the biggest question is, are you using email marketing? Are you using phone calling? What are you using to get people to get there to do the donation online? Not everybody, not every one of your donors is necessarily a person who is staying on Facebook, on Twitter, on all the different social media. You have to look at who you're trying to target and are they there? Because if you're spending all your time with email marketing, social marketing, and your audience isn't there, you're not going to get your donations. And I think most everybody realizes that the donors tend to be, the larger donors tend to be older. And when you get to online, they're definitely younger than direct mail type of donors. So those are the types of things you have to look at. Give Big Riverside, for instance, one of the big things that they do in that is to really focus on a lot of smaller donations, which is great. But if you're looking for more diversity, it does make it a little bit harder. So this gives you a little bit about what the online, and this is from 2011, but it's probably still pretty close to being true. And these are ways that people will be able to actually get to the online and be able to and make the donation. So this is where you get, and everyone's talking about donors, and obviously that is the focus of what we would try to help you focus on, is where you're getting the donors from. And again, in a business situation, it is generally cheaper to get more business from an existing customer than it is to get new customers. And the same holds true for nonprofits. You're going to be more successful with donations with existing donors than you are with spending a lot of money and time getting out there. Now that doesn't mean necessarily they're donors to you, but possibly a list that we could procure of people who tend to donate to other causes and things like that. So those are some of the things that we can help you focus on too, is actually procuring lists of people outside your group, but ones that tend to donate as well. So when you ask someone, where do they come from to get to your organization? This is Larry right here. He's the one that goes out and does the pressure. I think everybody here, a lot of people participate in special events, which are really good to be able to get out the name of the organization. They may not necessarily get you a donation at that exact moment, but it gets you to be networking with different people who you might not normally network with, whether it's a chamber of commerce or whatever, and then obviously direct mail. So again, getting back to how do you get noticed? And one of the things that we really focus on a lot is direct mail. We do work on online stuff too, but this gets you not only whether direct mail is out there, but there's different ways to deal with direct mail. You have personalization that can be done to make the mail that they get personalized to them, so that they kind of look at it a little bit longer. I think really the reality of most situations are, and you have to think about how you deal with your mail at home, is do you go ahead and just open your mail and then do it over the trash can? So really the goal is, how do you get someone to slow down that process? How do you get them to look at that piece, set it aside, or at least look at it for a little bit longer, so that when you hit them and hit them and hit them, there will be that remembering of who you were and what the ask is. Okay, so what do? These are some of the things that we would help you do, is when you're trying to know the donors. As I said, we can purchase lists, but you already have lists. Most of you have been in an organization that's been around for a little while. You already have donor lists. But how clean is your data? How much do you know about the exact age, gender, location, all that of all your donors? Those are some of the things that you can work on to try to hone that list down. And then you can actually get us that list, or get us the demographics from that list, and that's where the cloning comes in, Pam. Is that we then have access to lists from all over the country, where we will then try to pinpoint. It's unfortunate from you as a consumer, but it's fortunate from you as an organization, the data. I mean, everyone's heard about Target and all the other things that are going out there. That data is out there. Whether they took it from Target or not, that data was out there to begin with. If I want to get the address of someone making $100,000 to $125,000 that has 4 children, that has a swimming pool, that lives on a certain area of Corona or Riverside, I can get you that list in seconds. So that data is out there, whether you're a credit card user. I mean, the amount of data that we can hone down to, and exact age range within 2 years, married, ethnicity, you name it, we can find it. And then if you have a bigger budget, we actually can go out and work on lists that are from a magazine, for instance. You know, there are magazines for virtually everything, even though print has gone down. We can get lists from virtually all different kinds of sources. So those are the types of different things. And then different donor files as well, of people that have donated to other causes. This talks a little bit about the difference between personalized and non-personalized. You probably have all received personalized mail, whether you've noticed it or not. You know, some of it gets very specific. If you have a database that has, for instance, gender tags in there, all it has to say is male or female, we can actually take that data and actually change a photo on a postcard that would appeal to a male versus a female. So all we have to do is have that code and it just switches it. So it's not just the name, there's a lot of other things that can be done within a piece to personalize it and test. And that's what we would recommend. Everything you do, you have to test. You can't just assume because you're doing some whiz-bang thing that it's going to work a lot better. But these are the different types of response from personalized to non-personalized. And you can see personalized works better in virtually every instance. In other areas, you know, for instance, in lead nurturing, it's a little bit, personalization is more so than a direct sale. So this is one personalization process here. The photo stays the same, but we can put the name in the photo, for instance. And then these are other forms of personalization here, where we can take a piece of art and actually have the name in there, the same in there. So if you see the Jeff, receive a company card. So as long as we have the data and it is relatively clean, we can do all that. We can also do, this is a little bit more expensive, but we can actually do where they actually have like a URL, a domain, so their name is actually along with your URL. So this is the step of what we would go through with you, is to identify, you know, who is going to be the recipient, send a directory. We can even have a personalized landing page, so once they have that, they could go to an online website, and when it comes up, it actually has their name even on the website. It can be tagged to send out a thank you, and then we can actually, through this process, the second someone goes to that website, whether they fill anything or not, can actually send you an email saying that that person has already visited the website. So you can be kind of scary and call them right there. I have had that happen. I've just been at the website, I haven't even filled anything out, and I'm getting a phone call. That process is a little bit more expensive. It's more for a very sophisticated kind of a campaign, because there are setup things and stuff like that. But that's how extreme you can get, and we can take bits and pieces of that without getting quite that extreme. For instance, you can do a personalized card to just go to a generic landing page so that you can gather more information or ask them for a donation. So this is what personalization can help you do and some of the results that you can get. And obviously everything is measurable. As I said, when you go to the website, you know exactly who's gone, and you can get tracking to know what your response rate was. A very inexpensive thing, I think probably a lot of you have seen them. I don't know how many of you, do any of you, raise your hand if you know what a QR code is. Yeah, very good, very good. On the front of our newsletter, that is the current newsletter, yeah. There's a QR code right there on the front page, and if you scan it, it should, they did it while I was talking the other day, so it should, right now, yes, take you to a video about Allegra. So you can do a QR code that goes to a landing page, you can do a QR code that goes to YouTube, you can do a QR code that goes to Riverside, so you can do a QR code that goes anywhere. And all it is just a scanning code, just like a UPC code, that the phone will read, and it will direct you to wherever we set it up. And we can actually set up that QR code so that it's actually trackable. So we can tell you exactly how many people, this one is not trackable to the person, but it's trackable to tell you that 200 people or 10 people scan that code. So this is the process. For those of you who haven't done it, there's free apps for either Android or iPhone to do it, and it's very quick. You can do a QR code yourself. These are some of the resources, and again, we can get you these if you want to do that, or we'll help you do it. But creating a QR code is absolutely free, but you have to be able to know which way you do it to set it up right, so that way it's trackable. Because you can make a QR code, and if it's not trackable, it'll still work, but it would be nice to know how many people are actually using the QR code. These are just some of the apps that are available on the phones. So again, these are some of the places where you can send them to. Like I said, videos are kind of the neatest because when you send them there, it goes directly to the video and you've got them there. The disadvantage of going to a video that doesn't have a capture area, you don't have a place to capture their name and email address. So it depends on what the goal of it is. If it's going to a lot of your normal donors, sending, for instance, like the YMCA runs a youth and government program. You could do a short video of just of the kids telling the donors how great the program is and how it's changed their lives. So you could have a QR code just going to that. And it's more of a feel-good thing to reassure your donors that their money is going to good cause. These are places where you can put them. Some of you may have seen them on signs, on real estate signs. Realtors are putting those onto some of their signs, but you can put them on a coffee mug, for instance. I've seen t-shirts. I've seen giant ones on t-shirts. And so there's all different places where you can put them. One of the things, again, going back to mobile sites, you want to make sure that wherever you send them is friendly to your phone. You don't want to send them someplace where you're going to the phone and you're having to make it bigger and bigger. There are ways to make it so that it comes up to an exact size that it should be. And then you don't want to send it to your homepage. You want to send it to some sort of a landing page where you can capture more information, or if you're doing it for a video for a specific reason. Strategy number 5 is referral power. You all have donors. Is there an effort that you utilize to try to really get referrals from your current donors? Because obviously they know people who are like them, and they are the ones who are more likely to also give. Again, Larry's a good example of that there too, as far as, you have, how big of a board you have, you want to expand that to encompass more people so that you get more organization. I mean, I'm on the La Sierra University Foundation as well as the RCC Foundation. And so when you get on those kind of boards, you learn more about the organization, and whether I'm the one who's going to give or I know someone that's going to give, you have that base, a much broader base to draw from. And so I know a lot of you already have done that, but that's one of the great ways of doing it. So again, who are they going to trust? Referral systems. Again, this is a little bit not expensive, but it's more costly to set up. But it's something that can be done where it's totally automated. If you do have a very good broad base and you want to actually incentivize your group to refer other people to donate or whatever, we can actually set up landing pages where you send it out to them, they refer someone. If they refer someone to it, then they get something. It could be something as simple as a coffee mug, a t-shirt, or their name on a plaque, or whatever it may be. So those are all types of things that can be built in. But once it's set up, it's totally automated. It can be put onto different postcards, it could be put on your website, you could put it on your Facebook page for people to go to or for people to link to get them to add referrals. And that's what one of the landing pages would look like. It would be very simple. And then this is what they offered on this one was a conservation club. So you could get a specific sweatshirt and then they actually were able to pick the design that they liked. And then strategy number 6 is being convenient. You know, we kind of mentioned that as far. You don't really want to have anybody, if they're coming to your website, to really have to think very hard. You know, if someone has to, how many of you go to a website, it's just so confusing, you just leave because it's just confusing. I did one yesterday and I was trying to fill out a membership form or renewal form for an organization that I already belonged to. I couldn't even find the such thing. I mean, it took me, you know, a couple of minutes. I was ready to just call them and give up, and then I finally found it. So you want to be able to make sure that it's easy. If you're looking for a donation on the site, is there something right in the middle to donate? If you're looking for younger members, is there something to entice someone that's younger to look further? I mean, those are the types of things. You have to look at some of your issues that you were talking about and focus those and not just have a static website that all it is a brochure site, which is what most websites are. And then, so this is one, and you can see it has a donate today right there. And it has the stories, it has all the different things. The other part that we help people with is the content. Help you figure out what type of content you want on your website, so when people are trying to find it on Google, that they're going to be able to find you over someone else, or you know, your organization versus one that's in New York. Because again, if they're frustrated, they're not going to be able to give or join or do whatever. So we've already actually did this first and settled that. I think is that it? There we go. So there's our contact information. So that was, like I said, we were going to go through this very quick just to give you kind of a highlight of what is out there in the world. In addition to, you know, over the last few years, like I said, everybody gets to the point where let's do email marketing. It's free. And it is free or nearly free, but a lot of times it is what you get what you pay for. And so you want to be able to be careful and make sure that you have a focused marketing plan and you know what you're looking to do, how you're looking to implement it. There's no one magic thing. I can't come up here and say that direct mail, if everybody here does direct mail, it's going to turn your organization around overnight. I would never say that. And so it's really a lot of different strategies and doing them and testing them and figuring out what fits for your organization. And obviously budget is a big concern, and that's one of the things we sit down with you. You know, you have to be somewhat honest with us. Is it a $500 budget? Is it a $5,000 budget? Or is it no budget? Because if it's no budget, obviously it's a different strategy than it's a $5,000 budget. So those are some of the things we'll sit down with you and work on. And I'm going to let Erica talk, because she didn't want to talk, so come here.
Try it today. I did the last one. I'm going to come around this way. Okay, so I want to pick on Lauren from the Health Foundation for a moment, because a little over around Christmas time, we did a direct mail piece for the Health Foundation and the Pink Ribbon Company. I just want you to tell everybody what your actual results were from the direct mail piece versus what you've been getting by doing email marketing, because I believe it was significantly larger.
Yeah.
Why don't you come on here, you please?
Oh, okay.
Really putting you on the spot.
I know, I wish I had it to show everyone.
I know, I just thought the same.
Good.
So,
like I talked about, we have a new program called the Pink Ribbon Place. Resource Center in Riverside. So we wanted people to know about that, so we focused our year-end giving campaign on that, and we did a direct mail piece that you folded it open, and it was a folder on the inside, and the actual flap of the folder you could tear off and put in the envelope, which we put in the folder and mail back. And I would say we did not send out that many, maybe 600, 800 of them, and we probably got at least 20 responses, but you could also donate online, and we raised a lot of money online, and I would consider doing that, having an online component, and then letting people mail in the check. We had an incredibly better response than we had done in years past, where we might have only gotten 2 or 3, really from it, and then kind of those returning people. We had a lot of new donors. I would say probably over 50% of the donations we got from this campaign were brand new donors who had never given to us before. So it was really successful.
So as you can see, she sent a direct mail piece with the option to mail back or go online and donate. And, a lot of people went online, but some mailed it back. And that's just one small example of why you want to give them options. Did you have a question?
Yes, we order our pledge envelopes, return envelopes from you as well. We were just looking at them for revisions and noticed that they're all still very old school for what information we're asking. Do you have new templates that we could look at for the way the return envelopes?
Absolutely, and everything we do is completely customized, but we can definitely sit down with you and help you come up with ways that we think would help you yield better results, definitely. Anybody else have any questions for us?
On
Yes.
the referral question, I know there's now sticky rules with emails for if you're allowed to, you have to have permission to send emails. What constitutes permission, and how do you get it with a referral type situation? Does it have to come from the person itself referring, or named?
Generally, if someone's going to refer a friend to you and give you their email address, that would be considered acceptable. Now, everything that you send now probably has at the bottom the automatic unsubscribe. Now, I know I get a lot of emails that have that and you go through 2 or 3 steps. That is illegal. So, but, how do you crack down on that? So really, as long as you have put that in there as well, I don't feel bad if I get something from someone and it's kind of unsolicited, but this would be coming from their friend too. It wouldn't be just coming from you. So that's a different scenario. So I don't think you run into any, this is actually run through the Allegra Corporation, so we wouldn't be doing it. It's nothing we're doing on our own. So it's something that obviously has been vetted through all the legal parts of it. So it would not, and you would be a perfect candidate for that because you have, you have a broad base of donors already, and that would be a perfect way, especially combining it in with video. You've got great videos already, things like that, where you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So any of you that have content, whether it's video, photos, blogs, articles, newspaper articles, anything that you have, those should all be on your website someplace. So those should all be collected and put there with either links to YouTube if they're videos or whatever, because whether you think it's important or you think you're tired of it, doesn't mean anybody else is. So, if you have had an event and you have photos from there, have them on the website. And the other trick is the photos have to have the name, so you don't put photo 1, photo 2. The photo should have the name of the organization and or the event. So when someone Googles, have any of you ever Googled and seen the images, gone to the images versus the Google search? That's something that is there, and that is actually searchable by Google, and that actually helps your ranking. So if you actually have photos that have the names in it, those are searchable. If it says photo 1, photo 2, that's not going to get you very far, because all it's going to do, unless someone's Googling photo 1 or photo 2, that's all you can find. So that's another free tip. The other thing is, for those of you that have not converted your website to WordPress, consider doing that, because it does make all that much easier to do, and you can do that internally versus having to have a web programmer do it. Some other questions? Come on, I know there's some questions. Don't be shy. None of you here are shy. Yeah.
WordPress versus Wix. Are you familiar? Have you heard of Wix?
Yeah, Wix. The problem problem with Wix is it's not transportable. It's a free, quote-unquote, free to a low-cost system, but they host it. If you do WordPress and you have us host it, you have GoDaddy host it, you can move it. On Wix, if for whatever reason you don't like them or you want to do something different, you can't move that anywhere else. You never actually own the website. So I would never suggest, I mean, for you right now where you're small, that's fine. But at some point when you kind of graduate, you need a real website, so that way it's something that is actually yours. That's the one thing about either CAN or ones that you go on to GoDaddy or ones like that. If you build the site on GoDaddy, GoDaddy owns it, you never own it. The other thing is if you're looking for domain names, make sure you are listed on the domain name, your organization is listed on the domain name. If you're not, and your web designer is the only one listed on there, and you want to move it at some point, they have to allow you to move it. We've heard of numerous businesses and organizations that can never move their website. I even heard of one nonprofit here in Corona that had their website held hostage, and they had to pay $5,000 for something they already paid for, just to get access to their own name. And then once they got it, the web designer said they owned all the design, all the art on it, and they didn't even get any of the art again that they had paid for. They were over all that time. Yeah.
When you say move the website, are you meaning moving it from one host to another?
One hosting company to another. Yeah. You need to make sure that whoever does your site, whether it's us or anybody else, that you get either a CD or USB backup of it, and that you actually own it. And if someone won't give it to you, then run, because that's what you're paying them for. You're paying them for that. You're not paying them for a static thing today and paying them for something else tomorrow. You want to make sure that you own it. Our Rotary Club, it took us 3 years to get our Rotary domain back. And it was not because the person was holding it hostage. She was no longer a member and just trying to track her down. It took that long. It took that long to do. So you need to have, in a domain name, you actually have the option of 4 different spots, a technical, administrative, and all these different things. If you have different people in each one, any one of those people can make the changes. So that's something you need to do.
You say GoDaddy, you do own it or don't own it?
If the website is done through their website builder, you don't own it. If they host it, then they're only hosting it. So you never want to go to any of these on-site, online things to design your website, because those you will never own it. So you want to find someone local or, somewhere where you actually own the code for the website. And if you have one through one of those systems right now, like Lucy, it doesn't mean you have to just stop today. You just have to be aware that that is a limitation. So if you ever want to do something, you're limited to what they will allow you to do. Anybody else? Come on, Paula, come on up here. We introduced Paula a minute ago. Come on up here. Since she got out of doing the presentation, or do you want to stay down there?
Thursday's my grandma day, and I don't like to give that up. No, you should. This is Royce, and he's 3.5 months old. We've been over for him to get his lunch from his mom.
No, we're pretty proud of him. He's kind of a cute guy. And actually, he's going to be on the cover of the hospital newsletter coming up in the next couple of weeks. So he's going to be real famous here.
Ooh, I took that picture.
Oh, and Mr. Dorsey took the photographs. Thank you. Mr. Modest Jim Dorsey. Anything else? Okay, we have a drawing. Are the cards not back? In my spare time, this last year, I wrote a book, and it's called Direct Mail is Not Dead. So did everybody put their card into the basket? So we're going to draw a winner, and someone's going to get an autographed copy, which you can sell on eBay for probably 50 cents. This goes through a lot of the different things that we talk about here, plus other. There's actually a lot of references that I put in here on nonprofits, because it is a good core vertical group for us. So we recognize that, and so we do have this. Anybody that comes in and makes an appointment with any of us or Erica into the shop, we'll go ahead and give you one too if you make the appointment to come on in. So that'll be the enticement to come on in.
Yolanda has the baby, but you won the book.
I did.
Yeah.
Don't jump up.
I'll take
Yeah,
it.
you can't take the baby.
I'll take you.
Well, we want to thank you all for coming. If anybody has specific questions that you're too shy about to ask right now, we'll be here obviously, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. All our contact information is on the tables, and so please just give us a call. There's no high-pressure sales. We're obviously not doing high-pressure sales here. If you come into the shop, we'd love to have you come in, visit, see what we do that's a little bit different than most printers. And again, when you come in, there's absolutely no obligation or anything as well. We're more than happy to sit down with you and talk about your challenges. And if now is not the right time to implement a program, at least we can sit down with you and kind of give you a budget, and that way you'll know where you want to be in the future. So thank you very much for coming.